Sit back and get ready to have the most fun you ever had with an electronic device.
They're going to put $2 on it.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Put Giannis on it.
And his brother?
His brother. I think they have 2 Antetokounmpas and 2 Lopez's, right?
They do, yeah. Brooks Lopez and Frank Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez.
Jennifer Lopez, yeah, there you go.
She might do a better job covering Durant.
There you go. All right, everybody, welcome out to the Get On With It Sports Show. It is Wednesday, September 8th, 2021. Jersey Johnny coming at you with me, as always, is none other than Mr. RadioPete, Mr. Harry Lug Nutz. Say hello, gentlemen.
Howdy, folks.
How are you on this early edition of our show tonight?
We're throwing people off and going early for one.
Frazzled. I have 35 million things going on.
35 million things. That's a lot.
Yeah, maybe 34,999.
Still a lot.
Trying to get through my to-do list here.
Gotcha. And you got to get that all done by tonight?
By midnight, or else I implode. Yes. Which would be fine. I'd be
into a pumpkin.
It'd be a big relief, actually, to be honest.
It would be interesting, actually. But can you do it online so we can sell tickets? Yeah.
No.
I don't mean implode. I mean just do all the 34 million things you do.
No, if I shared it on my Instagram stories on a good day, I'd get 23 views. So
All right.
I just
decided 23 more than I would get.
I don't know about that. I've seen that cot in that room. If you just if you have the right lighting, I think
it's all about the lighting.
You've seen the what in that room?
The cot.
Oh, cot. Okay, I got you.
Bed.
Just wanted to make sure I was.
Well, he also has a rooster that runs around.
This is true. He does.
That's right.
It's Hermie, right? Is his name?
Sure.
Exactly.
It is today.
You have to join his OnlyFans page to find out the name of his cock.
We'll have to put that up on the.
And which Disney character will I be featuring on the sheets this week?
I thought you were gonna say. Never mind. Yes.
That can have more than one meaning if you want.
This is true.
Which Disney character is Pete's cock named after?
Will be on his sheets this week.
Hopefully it's Fantasia and not Goofy.
Will it be Tinkerbell? Will it be Moana? What's
Pluto?
That thing, the alien thing. What was that one called?
I have no idea.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah. It was a movie.
Exactly.
Yes.
Pocahontas. Little Mermaid, right? That was Disney, right? Little Mermaid.
You're asking the wrong person.
I don't know. Anyway.
I don't know.
We've taken a turn, and it's very early in the show. So.
Yeah, I think those are all Disney.
I don't think Disney. The last thing I want to talk about is Disney for a plethora of reasons.
For a lot of reasons.
Yeah.
I'll just say this: if you want Pixar sheets on my bed, it's going to cost you extra.
It's going to cost you extra. Actually, you're gonna.
That's why I like to pass that on to the OnlyFans audience.
Gotcha. Your go-to is your underdog sheets, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you wear underdog sheets?
And don't you have Dora the Explorer as well?
Yeah, not anymore.
Actually, but not sheets. Actually, Dora the Explorer. She
right. She's looking for work these days.
Exactly.
She's exploring
all over the place.
She's exploring the dark side of the entertainment industry.
Industry. Well, she's
right.
old enough. Yeah.
Really, the bottom of the barrel when it comes to my
scraping it. Really.
Account.
Oh my God!
You can't get much lower. Than
horrible
that.
Now.
She has her own OnlyFans, and you don't know what she's going to take out of her backpack.
You never know. It could be a sandwich. It could be anything.
Well, yeah.
Anyway, on that note,
always a sandwich.
Always a sandwich. Always a sandwich. What's in the sandwich is the question. But not that we're going to do it now. But have you garnered up a list for the over under today, or did you not?
I do. I do have a topic for the over under, and I actually counted.
All right. So give us the topic, and we'll do it at the end of the show.
Exciting.
All right. So to my right is the Epson 845 workforce printer.
Okay.
For several years.
Mm-hmm.
And it has 5 different. Is it 5?
Ink cartridges? Or 4?
Let's see. Right?
It has 5 different personalities.
It has 4.
4, yeah.
It has
four
four
cartridges and
personalities.
5 different personalities, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Right.
It's actually quite a wonderful product. I'm very happy with it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Epson
Little
makes a good-
plug
Yeah.
for Epson.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One of our sponsors.
So, well,
Not.
look, it's been cranking for a good half a decade or more, I'd say.
Very, very nice. Very nice.
So it has, of course, the black ink cartridge. It has magenta,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is what they call red. It has cyan, and it has yellow.
Yes, this is true. This is true.
So the over-under is how many backup ink cartridges are on the magic shelves.
Gotcha. How many total? Not each. Total. Not how many backup ink cartridges for each one. Total backup.
Right.
Is what we're doing. Okay. What's the over-under?
The over-under is
0.
0.5. The over-under is 4.5.
4.5. All right. That's the over-under.
So to have one backup of everything, you would need 4 separate cartridges.
Sure. Right.
And obviously, black is going to be the one you use most. I don't want to, skew anything, but
Okay.
but there's no guarantee that I even have one of everything.
Gotcha. So
It's not mandatory that you keep a backup of everything, but
this is true.
if you don't do that when it runs out,
Well, let me ask you a question. Are they typically bought in a 4-pack?
Not necessarily.
you can buy them in a 4-pack, although I do not. I find it because they don't
helpful information there.
Yeah, they don't get used in the same amounts.
Right.
And they also make, I think, at least for the black, they make like a double.
Double.
It has
double
double
size,
the
yeah.
amount. It's
a double.
same.
It's a double wide cartridge.
But it still counts as one.
Right.
It counts as one.
Counts as one. Sure.
I already have my answer, and I know it's wrong.
Right.
Then
We'll keep everybody in
accomplished.
suspense. All right. All right. So we'll do that at the end of the show. That's the over/unders 4.5 on backup ink cartridges.
Backup ink cartridges for the Epson Workforce 845.
845. Cool.
I
All right.
expect, and the majority of our audience frantically Googling it right now.
Absolutely.
That's right. Is there an audience today? If you're out there,
The majority of our audience is frantically Googling right now.
yeah, they're not googling anything to do with
the
us.
show, but
No.
They're not even watching the show. They're just
Exactly. All right.
Well, now here's just a little side note about
Sure.
the Epson 845 Workforce printer.
Okay.
wow. We're really gonna rope them in today. Started off with it was a lot more exciting when we were talking about your Disney characters and your OnlyFans
I know.
page.
Here's the thing, though. The paper tray has a little flap on it because when the paper ejects,
All right, now we're getting back.
Now we're getting back
Here we go.
to OnlyFans. There we go.
it all comes around.
How much do you have to pay to lift up the flag?
No, when the paper ejects,
And how far does it
catches
eject?
it's like a tray, catches in a tray.
Sure,
Right,
of
right,
course.
right.
Well,
But
that tray got broken. It's like an extendable thing that comes out and it holds the
You broke
paper.
your flap. Oh,
I broke the paper flap on my Epson 845 Workforce printer.
there you go.
And so I went to find the part.
Right.
There was one guy who had it on eBay.
One.
that guy.
He wanted $114 for it.
You can get a new printer
It's just
for
a
that.
little metal or plastic thing that slips in and you pull it out and it extends out.
Yeah.
And then there's a little thing you flip up and the paper comes out and sits on
Stop
it
side, right?
instead of falling out of the printer.
$114.
$114. I did not buy it.
No, I wouldn't either.
So
And and to some extent too, and depending on the printer you buy, the prices of printers have come way down, and the price of ink is ridiculous. It almost makes sense to when you buy a printer and you run out of ink with the ink that comes with the printer, throw the printer out and buy another printer.
Yeah, you can buy a printer for like $80 if you want.
That's eco-conscious.
Of course, right? Exactly.
Greta Thunberg approved.
But here's the thing about the Epson 845 Workforce
All right,
printer.
sell the printer and buy a new one. How's that?
It's not only a printer.
Donate it.
Don't.
It's also a scanner and
fax
a copier.
machine.
Is it also a toaster?
And a fax machine, yeah.
It's a refrigerator on weekends.
So
So
I had to jury rig up a little thing that would make the paper come out good.
very nice.
Other than that, this Epson 845 Workforce printer is working just as well as the day I bought it, which is
Awesome printer. It is. They are
number
good
of years
printers.
ago.
I have an
Although
HP.
apparently you can't find
behind me over here.
the ejection paper expandable holder thing
Gotcha.
for it anymore.
It's a
And that's a new section today called Pete's Office Reproductions.
Pete's Office Reproductions. There, my
The
my
reprographics of
my
Radio
HP
Pete.
My HP Office Jet 8710 is right behind me. It's been going.
I love how you guys know the model number of your printers. That's how you.
Well, listen, when you love a printer, you get
Exactly.
to know it. You get to know it.
Yeah.
So if anyone
spend a lot of time with this printer in this room. So
if anyone is from Epson, it's right next to the bed. So
That's right.
if anyone from Epson is listening and happens to have an extra
Flap.
expansion flap for the Epson 845 workforce printer, look me up.
Look you up. All right.
I'll be happy to pay substantially less than $114.
Exactly. Happy to.
And that guy Hamid, who's selling it for $114, I hope you die with it still in your possession for charging that much.
You are. Yeah. You know what? You know what's going to happen? It's going to be on eBay for about 37 years because nobody's ever going to buy it. So, anyway, all right. Let's. This is our NFL kickoff special.
Brought to you by Epson printers and their faulty ejection flaps.
Of course, exactly.
It's not faulty; it's just broken.
It's just broken ejection flaps. There you go. And
unreliable
unreliable ejection flaps.
Still as or more reliable than any other printer company.
But have we not set our expectations super low that it's been cranking for 5 years? So I mean, how many times do you print a day? Let's say you print 100 pages a day. Right. Mm-hmm. All right, that makes that makes sense. But I'm sure you don't.
650 pages.
I'm sure you print 100 pages a year. So you got 500 pages printed out of that before it crapped on you.
Right.
Well, it didn't crap.
Well, it didn't crap. It's just the expansion flap broke. The printer's still cranking away.
That's what I'm saying.
Out. And this is whether it's printing on one side or both, because the Epson 845 workforce printer does do dual-sided printing.
It does. It's duplex. There you go.
Let me ask you a question.
As is my HP Office Jet 8710.
What happens if you just remove the flap?
Then the paper.
Well, that's what
I
did. The paper just kind of comes out and it slides onto the table.
Well, you know,
if
you have the time, you could always stand there with your hand, and your hand can be the holder. You know, at that point.
Well, who's got time? With the amount of printing that I do, who's got time?
You could put a chair under it with a box, so it you know.
Well, that was my first. That was my first. But what happens is actually the paper kind of gets caught as it comes out, and it starts to kind of curl up.
Sounds like a vital piece. Sounds like it's an important
piece. It's kind of a vital piece.
It's kind of important.
Sounds like an important piece to a really reliable printer.
Well, you know,
I was surprised
it's always important. It's always important for Pete to have a vital piece in that office in there.
Yeah,
absolutely. Mm-hmm. There you go.
All right. Now we got an hour and
now we have even less
21 minutes left.
All right.
Well, that's all right. That's our NFL kickoff show. But we're gonna
be the best team in the NFL. See you next week, folks.
See, here's the thing, folks. This is a sports show, but we are willing to sacrifice sports talk for a good bit.
For a good bit.
Or for a bad bit.
Yeah.
A good bit, bad bit.
We don't know when we have a good bit.
Exactly. We're never going to know.
We really don't know the difference. So.
Yeah.
Exactly. We try, and sometimes we succeed, sometimes we don't.
But no one knew Pete was going to launch into his printer. Although it was tied to the over-under, which is one of our more popular repeating.
It is definitely a repeating episode, segment. So. Anyway, so let's breeze through baseball really quick, and then we'll talk about football. Just really quick as far as local stuff goes. Mets and Yankees. Mets, I mean, they're on. I don't want to call it a tear by any means. I mean, they're winning. You know, they're winning the games they should. They lost a couple of games that they shouldn't have lost.
That's every team.
But yeah, but I mean, when it comes down to, let's see, what's his name? Oh, Edwin Diaz. Blew 2 saves in the same series with the Nationals.
But you're not paying him what we're paying Aroldis Chapman.
No. He is making money, but not as much as Aroldis Chapman, that's for sure. But he's bad. It's done. But in any event, on that note, he needs, you know, if he's going to have a save, he needs the entire 3 runs. You know, it's back to, you know, Armando Benitez in the postseason, or back to John Franco in the later years, you know. But in any event, they are winning.
No juris familia.
He's no juris familia. That's for sure. But I saw somebody posted on Facebook in one of the Mets groups. They're calling him Armando Familia.
Nice.
So
nice.
There you
go. Look, it's time to come to the absolute finality, a conclusion that the Mets are a mediocre team.
Yeah.
And
they're a mediocre team in a shitty division. That's what it really boils down to.
And they were really being kept afloat by some of their pitching staff, one guy in particular.
Right.
But he's not around right now, so.
And on that note, too, Sandy Alderson was quoted yesterday as saying that he had a sprain, a UCL sprain. That's what this whole thing was, that DeGrom was out. It was a UCL sprain.
What's UCL stand for?
Ulterior cruciate ligament.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah, it's the ligament in your elbow that needs Tommy John. So
it's sprained.
So it's sprained. Right?
Not strained.
Sprained
with a
sprained.
P. Okay.
Right. Sprained with a P. And a sprain can be described as a low-grade partial tear, is what they are saying. So technically, he had a partial tear of the UCLs, but it was called a sprain. Apparently, it has resolved itself. That was the word used. It resolved itself.
Mm-hmm.
Not fixed itself, not got better, not healed. Resolved itself.
As most torn ligaments do.
Right. They resolve. Right. Like a stanza in a song. It resolves.
Medical people sometimes call it healing. That's kind of outdated.
That's a bad word.
Yeah,
you need something new. What's fresh?
Yeah,
resolved.
Yeah.
It resolved itself.
Like the kids say, resolved.
It resolved. So, but in any event, but you know what? And we said this weeks ago. DeGrom's not pitching anymore this season, and you're not going to see Syndergaard either. So it is what it is right now. What they have, they got to go with. And
they're 4 games out. They got 23 games left. They have 6 games with Miami. And they finished the season with 3 with Atlanta.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think playing Miami means it. Isn't Miami doing well against them?
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is
they're the Mets, Baltimore. But
right.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah. So, well, I mean,
I'm not holding my breath.
I'm not holding my breath either. And even if they do get to the postseason, whether it is it is a possibility now that they make it there in a wild card. Because teams have come back to earth.
How does that work? How many wild cards are there?
There's 2 wild cards right now, and the whatchamacallit, the where am I?
So they've got to beat out Cincinnati.
Cincinnati has one of
Philly.
But Philly's half a game ahead of them. Yeah.
Cincinnati has one of them, and the Dodgers. Cincinnati has Cincinnati, and actually, I take that back. Cincinnati and San Diego are tied for the second spot right now. The Dodgers are way up. So either the Dodgers or the Giants, whoever doesn't win the division in the West, is getting the top wild card.
The difference between a wild card and winning the division is a half a game for the Mets.
Yeah. The Mets are 4 games out of the division lead. They're 3.5 games out of the second wild card.
Right.
So, but it is. My point is, it's a possibility. But bottom line is, either way, no matter what they do, they're not going anywhere in the playoffs. I mean, let's call it what it is. You know, it's like you said, they're a mediocre team in a crappy division. If they can win a couple games, yeah, sure, anybody can go on a heater. But do they have the tools and the talent right now? The playing, I don't mean on paper, playing the way they should be playing to actually make a run in the playoffs if they're fortunate enough to get there.
No, they don't.
Yeah. So, but
they're not going to be going on any. What did they win? 8 in a row or 9 in a row or whatever it was recently?
They won 8 in a row. Technically, they called it 7 because one of those games that they won in a row was a finished. They finished a game that they started in April, so that win goes back to April.
7 or 8, they're not going on any sort of tear like that against playoff teams.
Right, exactly. So, the one good thing that did happen yesterday, though, is Pete Alonso got his 100th home run yesterday. He is the second quickest to 100 home runs in Major League Baseball history. 347 games. Ryan Howard is the only one in front of him. He did it in 325 games. He did it in 18 games less.
There we go.
But number 3 in baseball history is Gary Sanchez with 355 games, and number 4 is Aaron Judge with 371 games. And just to round out the top 5, in case you were curious, Ralph Kiner actually rounds out the top 5 with 376 games.
Not bad.
Yeah, so it's good company. Good company.
All right, so look, the Mets are what they are. They are mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Steve had not as successful a first year as he wants. He can clean house now.
Yeah.
Hopefully he will understand that what he is doing is not going to work.
Right.
And they come back, everything's healthy, and then next year they win the World Series.
Yeah, well, I'd settle for just a strong showing in the playoffs next year. I'll take the World Series, obviously, but I would settle for a good season and a strong showing in the playoffs.
Yeah, look, he's a new owner, and he's got to learn, and hopefully he takes some lessons away from the season.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I think it's even more obvious to some degree in the National League that there's 3 teams that are demonstratively head and shoulders above the rest of the league.
Oh yeah,
in San Francisco, LA, and Milwaukee. I mean, none of those other teams really scare me.
No.
San Diego maybe just because they have, but I mean, the odds of them making the playoffs isn't really even all that great.
Right.
So,
how are they going to get in?
Right. Don't look out for Milwaukee. I think they're the team that's. I mean, I can't believe I'm talking about them as a spoiler with 85 wins already this year, 30 games.
Well, there's
above 500.
Spoiler to the Dodgers or the Giants, right?
Right.
That's where they're the spoiler.
And the Giants are quietly being able to hold off the Dodgers, and they're both playing good ball. I mean, the Giants. Well, they lost. Didn't they lose a couple to the Mets? Yeah. But I mean, they're still. They're one more win today, and they'll already have 90 wins. Mm-hmm. So they're the surprise, I think, of baseball. I think they were I don't think any of us had them any higher than third in that division. I think everybody thought Los Angeles and San Diego would be battling for that top spot. But the Giants are one of those organizations that put a good product on the field almost every year.
Mm-hmm. And, Atlanta, too, is not exactly the same team they were last year.
No.
And it's a weird situation, because of, what last season was. But Braves got to the playoffs and went on a heck of a tear.
They did.
They did on a real good showing. So,
and they could do that again. I think they're the one team in that division has a better capability of doing that.
Yeah, they're capable of stringing together a number of good games.
Right.
But, it's – anything can happen, but we kind of have it narrowed down as to who we think is going to be playing in the World Series.
Anything can happen, but it rarely does.
Anything can happen, but any of the anythings that can happen rarely do. Yeah, but sometimes they do. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see when it does happen. So in any event, all right. On to the other team, that other team in New York. Harry, why don't you start?
I don't even know what to say because they had a chance, a series ago. They're getting wiped. By the way, Toronto is where I thought they would be in the beginning of the year. That lineup for Toronto is really tough.
Finally came together.
I mean, yeah. Tampa Bay is, again, a team that nobody's talking about, that it's just consistently been good. The Yankees went on a tear. And now Boston, Toronto, and Tampa Bay are all playing really good baseball. Mm-hmm. I mean, Boston's been a little up and down, but they're still right there.
Sure.
And the Yankees are falling apart a little bit, and I'm a little concerned with what the reality is with Garrett Cole and his hamstring. They've had some good starts with starting pitching. Their bullpen has been very unreliable, and they lost a couple games that a good team doesn't lose. And that's what's disappointing. After that incredible winning streak, to come back in the opposite direction in such a horrific manner is just crazy. So I don't know. I mean, it comes down to pitching. I think the bats have gone a little quiet. If Judge and Stanton aren't doing what Judge and Stanton are capable of doing all the time, but they're still scoring more than they used to.
Well, let's talk about that for 1 second.
And they're just giving up. They're just giving up a big leads.
Well, I mean, yesterday they lost to Toronto. They lost to Toronto, and Steven Matz in the Bronx shut down the Yankees.
Yeah.
And again, we said the Yankees have lost 8 of 10. The Blue Jays have won 9 of 10. Technically, in the last 10 games, the Blue Jays are the hottest team in Major League Baseball right now. But
yeah, they've scored one. Yankees have scored one run.
They've scored one run in the last 2 days. But I got to give you this stat really quick. This is the second time in Yankees franchise history that within a 2-game span, they scored 1 or no runs in each of those games. 0 walks, 0 extra base hits in both of those games. Do you know when the last time was?
I have no idea.
1908.
Yeah. Was that a good year?
Well, no, they hadn't even become relevant yet. They were many years away from their first World Series. But yeah, 113 years ago was the last time they did what they just didn't. The last time they played a 2-game stretch that was as bad as these last 2 games.
Well, and even in the couple games that they lost before that, the 2 that they blew to the Orioles, the one that they won, and the game that they won against the Angels, they were back to really being the Yankees. They were working into pitch counts. They were making the pitcher throw a lot of pitches and at bats, and they were walking a lot. Yeah. Look, the Yankees have guys who walk a lot, whether it's anybody from Brett Gardner, DJ LeMahieu, especially Joey Gallo and Rizzo and Stanton and Judge. They all walk a lot, but they're not doing that. Right. And I think the verdict is still out on whether or not I like Gallo as a defensive player, especially in left field. I think he's saved a number of runs, I think, over the course of the last 6 or 7 games.
Agreed, but his bat is just awful.
He has the flair, much like Sanchez, for occasionally having a great game with a big time hit. Mm-hmm. But his bat's pretty bad. I mean, his average is really bad. His on base percentage is pretty high compared to his average because he walks a lot.
He walks a lot, yeah. But his average the last, I guess it was 2 weeks maybe or so. He's batting under 100.
And the Yankees,
86 or something.
The Yankees kind of lost something with Torres coming back.
Yeah.
And look, Gleyber Torres had the potential, and I think maybe there's less chance of it, but there's still a big chance that he could be a huge star in this league. I mean, I thought he was going to be the next Robbie Cano, kind of player. Mm-hmm. And he's a power hitter. He's less than average in the field. And I just don't think his head is in the game half the time. And there's just something about the makeup of the Yankees. And you could look at Velasquez and what his numbers are, and they're not dominating. But there's something about his presence when you can get Rizzo at first, LeMahieu at second, and Velasquez at short. Then the Yankees lineup changes a bit. They get a lot more speed in there. And that's what was at least interesting and I think compelling about this team during their big run. Now it's the same old thing. Are we going to be able to get Luke Voit in the game? Is Rizzo going to be able to play every day? And Gallo seems to be the guy who's always in there. And he's not, you could see it too. I mean, you could tell it's kind of bothering him. He's just not performing to the, and I didn't think, I always thought, well, yeah, he had a couple good years, but is he really as good as, some of these other names that people were so hot on? I mean, I don't think he's a Joey Votto by any means, but so I don't know. This team for a hot minute there, they look like, okay, maybe this is finally come together. And now with Loaizaga gone and with Cole now, maybe we don't know what's going on there. And the end of their bullpen has been horrible. But Luis Gil takes the mound again tonight. Talion hasn't been horrible. Kluber's, I don't think his return is helping them very much. I think their starting pitching is all over the place, and I think their lineup is all over the place. And I've talked about this before. I don't like how much juggling of the lineup that Boone does.
Right.
I don't like it.
No. That's not really good for any team, really. I mean, you got to have a little consistency there. You got to shake it up when it needs to be shaked up, but shake it up every day.
If a guy can't hit if a guy can't hit a lefty at all, then that's great.
Right.
But to not have one of your only lefty bats in the lineup against a right-handed pitcher, doesn't make much sense to me.
No. So, all right. Well, we will see if the trend continues for both of them. I have a feeling that they're both going to turn around to some degree each in the opposite direction yet again. So apparently they can't ever get on the same page at the same time. But they do have a series against each other this weekend. So
they do.
We will see how that plays out.
I think the Mets are winning the season series with the Yankees, aren't they?
Yeah, they're 2-1 right now. So and it's usually and it usually winds up being even.
Unless they play an odd number of games,
right? Well, but usually the Mets win two out of 3 in Citi Field, and the Yankees win 2 out of 3 in Yankee Stadium. The Mets won 2 out of 3 in Yankee Stadium, so we'll see what happens.
Are they playing 3 or 4?
3 in Citi Field, yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, but we'll see how that plays out, and we'll talk about that next week, I'm sure.
And look, I said this when we were doing our baseball picks. If Toronto can get into the playoffs, they can do some damage.
Yeah, with those bats, they definitely can.
I mean, and they got Corey Dickerson now leading off and playing center field, who's a guy who's been forgotten, but who's I think has a lifetime 280 batting average and is a good center fielder. He started out here in Colorado.
And we know at least one of their pitching staff has been to a World Series before, right?
True. So, I mean, and they don't even have what's his name back, right? Isn't he still hurt?
He's out tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. So you get Springer back in the lineup. I mean, they've got, in a year where averages are down, they've got guys hitting 270, 270, 319, 288, 292, 290, 276. Yeah. That's the top half of their lineup.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty damn good for this year. That's good. That's good for any year. But that's good pretty damn good for this year.
Yeah.
So,
and I think they have the MVP on their team as well. I mean,
you would think. I mean, I think he's gotten most of the votes. So, but
so I don't know. Right now, if I had to look at all the teams, I'd say that the Yankees are not.
You're talking about Steven Matz, right? That's what you're talking about.
Right. Well, I'm talking about the American League East. If I had to pick a team to come out of that right now, I think Toronto might be that team. And I'm not sure Boston's not better than the Yankees right now as all things shake out. So we'll see.
We'll see how it plays out.
I just wonder how much at least here in New York, the interleague is going to be the draw. I mean, because both teams are, admittedly struggling for a wild card spot, one in a little bit better position, and certainly considered a better team to go somewhere in the playoffs. Obviously, the Yankees.
You mean Yankee Mets? How much of a draw it's going to be?
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be big. Although I was looking at Yankees.
Everybody will go there, but to me, it won't be because it's the Yankees versus the Mets for bragging rights.
Attendance.
We're both fighting for a playoff spot.
Sure.
No, it's what it is Yankee fan when the Mets are home at Citi Field. It's Yankee fans who don't want to go to the Bronx, who are closer to Citi Field. Who go to
that's just I say it all the time. There's only 4 games a year that there's only 4 games a year that that are sold out, non-playoff games, regular season games that are sold out at Citi Field, and that's opening day and the 3 Yankee games.
Yeah,
that's it.
And attendance has been down a little bit. I know there's a lot of people.
I'm sure that's not going to be the case this year, right?
Yeah,
but
there's still a lot of when I watch Yankee games, there's still a lot of empty seats, especially the seats behind home plate. I don't know if they're still socially distancing. It doesn't look like it. I just think that there's empty seats.
It's not. When I was at the game in Pittsburgh and
Pittsburgh's
Boston,
different.
it was I know it's not. It's not New York, but still, everybody was shoulder to shoulder. And it's like they were asking for vaccine cards either. So, but in any event, what you call it? Yeah, I don't know what to think that's going to be, but this year. But normally, I got to be honest with you, Citi Field's a better ballpark to watch a game than Yankee Stadium anyway. You want to go to Yankee Stadium?
I have not been to the new Yankee Stadium.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It's an office building with a ballpark in the middle of it. That's Yankee Stadium.
Well, sure.
You walk through the, you're walking through like where the concessions are. There's actually offices with windows, like windows with blinds as you're walking through. It's an office building you're walking through, and then you finally get to.
That's where George Costanza works.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. But I mean, Yankee Stadium, as old as it was, it still had much more luster and mystique or whatever you want to call it. Than this place does. I mean, it's a new stadium, and you know what? It's corporate. That's what they wanted. So they got what they wanted. So, but Citi Field, it's a much better ballpark to watch a game from than Yankee Stadium is. But
you just have to go all the way out to Citi Field.
Yeah, right. It's not that much further.
Well, yeah.
Depending on where you're starting, it's not that much further. Anyway. Actually, technically, if you're going over the George Washington Bridge, you got to pass Yankee Stadium to get to Citi Field. So you got to drive right past Yankee Stadium to get to Citi Field.
Yeah, so Yankee Stadium's closer.
Exactly. So, right. Well, exactly. Unless you're coming from Long Island or Southern Manhattan, then it's different. But in any event,
all right. Citi Field is closer to the world.
There you go.
Just jump on over the airport and fly away.
And yeah, there's an airport across the
street. That airport, yeah.
Name the good airport in the Bronx.
Well, no, you don't fly into the Bronx.
Yeah, well, but in any event, yeah. So there you go. All right. Well, that's our baseball report for today.
That's our uplifting New York
baseball moments. There you go. So, all right. Why don't we get this party started, as they say, with the NFL here? Let me.
I'm not ready for football season. Just not ready.
Let me put the correct background on. You will be once you watch the game tomorrow night, or maybe not tomorrow night, but Sunday anyway.
When does it start?
Starts tomorrow night.
It starts tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Let's kick it off with our quiz. All right, let's kick off football with our quiz. How's that? All right. Quiz this week.
It's at least as good as a Thursday night game.
It's at least as good as the Thursday night game. Absolutely. All right. I'm giving you 5 defensive players. You keep 3. I'm sorry, you keep 4. 1 has to go. You have to get rid of one of these defensive players. You get to keep 4. One has to go. All right. Who wants to go first? Pete, as always.
Yes, sure.
Right, Pete, here we go. All right, I'm giving you 5. You keep 4. 1 has to go. Here we go. Joe Klecko, Larry Grantham, Darrelle Revis, Jerry Philbin, and Mark Gastineau.
By the way, I'm enjoying the tube.
I'm loving the trombone back there.
Oh, it's trombone.
That's great. It was like it was the theme to what I was giving the names. So
well, you know how Jeopardy has dun 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 dun, right?
Yeah, right. We have
trombone shorty.
Trombone shorty. There you go. Anyway.
All right.
So names again: Joe Klecko, Larry Grantham, Darrelle Revis, Jerry Philbin, and Mark Gastineau. Who goes? Basically, which of Larry Grantham and Jerry Philbin do you want to get rid of?
Listen, there's a somewhat solid case about the overhyping of Darrelle Revis.
Sure. To
be made, but he was still a great player. So,
by the way, all obviously at the top of their game, obviously.
Right, of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, I'm sure one of those guys at least is dead, so I might cut him. But in their prime, I'll say Grantham.
You're going to get rid of Grantham?
Yeah.
All right. Harry, you want to weigh in on that just before?
I mean, he was an interesting story, right? Because he was on the team that won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And he was like a 15th round pick, which I think at the time there was only 13 rounds in the NFL draft.
Pretty much, yeah.
He just showed up one day.
Yeah.
But you picked me in the 15th round. We were home by the 14th.
I mean, he was a 5-time All-Star. And who was the other guy besides Grantham?
Jerry Philbin.
Who? What?
He was on
that Regis's?
No, he was back with Larry Grantham.
Yeah. Was he I don't know him. I'll be honest.
He was he was.
What's he? Defensive
the equivalent
end?
of like an edge rusher. Yeah, so defensive end. Yeah, he would have been an edge rusher, and in that time.
I'm gonna go with Phil. I'm gonna go with Philbin. I don't think he had as great a career.
Okay.
No, I mean, yeah, he was also he did lead the league in sacks that year. I think the year the Jets won the Super Bowl.
He did,
or the year before, or something like that.
He had he basically they weren't keeping sack stats way back then, but he basically that you're in question. He basically had a Mark Gastineau type year.
All right, then. I'm gonna get rid of Regis Philbin.
So you're gonna get rid of Jerry Philbin or just Regis Philbin?
Right,
Jerry
Philbin.
You can get rid of them both. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So Pete
gets
rid of
the
Larry
first
Grantham.
time we've disagreed on this.
There you go. I think it is. And Harry gets rid of Jerry Philbin. All right, Harry, yours. Ready?
Okay.
Same thing. I'm going to give you 5 defensive players. 1 has to go. You keep 4. Here we go. All right. LT, obviously. Harry Carson. I know you're getting rid of LT already. You said that, right? Lawrence
He's
Taylor.
overrated. He's a systems player.
He's a systems
and a drug
linebacker.
addict. So
yeah.
He's got to go.
Lawrence, I know which one. I already know which one Radio Pete's getting rid of. But Lawrence Taylor,
Harry Carson,
Michael Strahan, Carl Banks, or Justin Tuck. Who are you getting rid of?
Tuck.
You're getting rid of Tuck. I figured, but yeah. Pete?
That seems to be the obvious answer.
But I know who you want to pick.
I'll get rid of Strahan.
Shocker.
I'll tell you what, Tuck was. I just don't think he did it as long.
He didn't do it as long, but he was great. He was a great player for those 8 years.
Player,
8-9 years. Yeah.
And did him and Strahan never played together?
Yeah, they did. They played for 3 years together.
3 years. That's right. Yeah. I would argue. Yeah, that's right. Tuck sort of maybe helped Strahan stick around a little longer.
I watched an interview. They were calling him old man. They used to when Tuck and OC when they were rookies, they were calling him old. They called Michael Strahan old man.
You could say the same thing with Carson's later years and even Banks and LT when they had Carson and they had Gary Reasons and Peppers come in.
Marshall.
Yeah. Leonard Marshall was originally with them, but Jim Burt left, but they had some other.
Right.
I mean, especially in the linebacker corps back then. So I forget about Tuck in the time frame, but
Tuck one of there's only three of these guys. Three guys on that list won 2 Super Bowls. Obviously, Banks, Taylor, and Tuck. Yeah. Yeah. Carson and Strahan only won 1 each.
Yeah, Carson was gone for the second one in '90.
Strahan played in another one, but he lost it, so we're not going to talk about that one.
Yeah, and I would argue that I think Strahan, as good of a player as he was, is a little over, in some circles, maybe a little overhyped. Mm-hmm. I would not say overrated because he was a great player.
Sure.
But I think his name has been kept around so long because he's become such a celebrity.
Sure.
All the housewives watch him every day.
Oh yeah, I mean.
So, and Justin Tuck, I don't know. I think he was hard. I'll stick by Tuck because the other guys are just, you would never kick them off any team.
You wouldn't. How would you kick it? Yeah, it's hard, but
three of the best linebackers.
Tuck would be the one.
3 of the top 10 linebackers of all time.
Right. I would pick. I'm actually going to split. If you're playing along, I'm going to split mine. I'm actually going to go with Pete on the Jets and get rid of Larry Grantham, and I'm going to go with you on the Giants and get rid of Justin Tuck. So.
I thought you were going to split it and get rid of half of Justin Tuck and half of Michael Strahan.
Get rid of Justin Tuck's helmet and Michael Strahan's shoes.
Have a Tuckham.
Michael Tuckham.
A Strayek.
Mike Tuckin. There you go.
Sounds like we'll call him Turducken.
Turducken. There you go. That's what it is. All right. So that's that. All right. So let's talk some NFL. Geez, we're here. It's the start of the season tomorrow.
Crazy, right?
It is ridiculous. I can't believe it. This is show 50, by the way. Technically, this is like show 58 because we did all those. We've done a lot of special shows, but
we did.
We did we did a couple of.
I don't remember any of these being special.
Oh, we did.
You were surprisingly quiet.
You were very, very
oddly quiet for many of the special shows.
The Super Bowl special, the NBA special,
I wasn't there.
Yeah, you were.
Oh, okay.
But in any event, of the actual weekly Wednesday podcast, this is our 50th show. 51st week because we had the week off.
Congratulations on the 50th show.
50th show. This is our 50th show. And our 1 year anniversary is actually next week. Well, technically, we have our 1 year anniversary in 2 weeks, and that'll be our 52nd show. Technically, our 53rd show, which should be it because we've had the week off. So our 52nd show will be 2 weeks. Will be our 1 year anniversary. So we'll do something special that night.
Right.
We'll go out to dinner, have some champagne or something. But in any event, I think you might be near this area when that.
Yeah, I might be unavailable for that show,
so,
but
or you might even actually be here doing the show too.
I'm gonna be in Pete's closet.
We're all gonna go out to Pete's closet. We're gonna do the show from Pete's bunker.
Right. I don't know where he lives, but I'll find him.
There's a great grilled cheese place not too far away and a brewery right around the corner. So we'll definitely go.
Yeah, we could go into the village and
we can
Northport Village and
we'll do the show live from Sand City
we'll go to Sand City and
absolutely.
Yeah,
works for me.
All right.
Or we could go to Blue Point or
any of those. Yeah, just go across
Harry,
the island.
Do the show from here. I'll set you up right next to the old Epson 845 workforce printer.
That's right.
I love that he keeps saying the whole name of it.
That's how you sell it, baby.
The workhorse, baby. Epson, if you're listening,
they're not going to sponsor if I just say the old.
We'll settle for Epson salts. But yeah.
There you go. Just send a couple of those. Anyway, but in any event,
Get On With It podcast brought to you by Epsom salts.
Epsom salts.
No brand name, just Epsom salts.
Just generic magnesium salt.
Buy them at the hardware store.
Epsom salts. How these three continue to walk.
Exactly.
A little soak each day makes you feel good.
Makes you feel nice and fresh.
You soak your feet in them? I snort them.
Snort magnesium sulfate.
Yeah,
you're taking kind of the 1800s approach.
That's how I get through this podcast.
A little snuff. There you go. That's what it is. So anyway, all right. So let's talk a little local first. Let's talk about the. We'll start with the Giants. Their game is actually after.
Have the Giants named a starting quarterback?
They have.
Damn it!
They're starting Jerry Goldstein.
Jerry Goldstein,
right? But in any event, no. The Giants are playing the Broncos. Obviously, their first game, their home opener on Sunday, 4:25 game in East Rutherford, and the Broncos are a 3-point favorite in MetLife Stadium.
That tells you just how good the Giants are.
Yeah, but that's the NFL didn't make that point spread. The Vegas made that point spread, and I'm just trying to think, what does Vegas know about the Giants, or for that matter, what does Vegas know about the Broncos that we don't know about?
Well, Vegas has watched the Giants' offensive line this preseason. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure you could get a good read on the Giants based on the preseason.
No, I really don't think you can, because the what they were watching was really not what's going to go on the field. Not far away from it, mind you, but not exactly what the product's going to be on the field on Sunday. So
that's probably true of a lot of teams.
Sure, absolutely. But I just found it odd that they're Giants are 3-point underdogs at home.
Yeah, I thought it'd be a push.
It's not like they're playing. Yeah, right. When the home team's 3-point favorite, then it's a push, right? So. If you make it a push, then technically, if you want to look at it, the Broncos are actually 6-point favorites, right? You get 3 points just for playing a home game. So, but in any event, we'll see how that plays out. I'm sure that the offensive line was a little bit more closer in the preseason, or what we saw than any other of the core first team starting cores are going to be. So my question to you is this, like both of you. Will they turn a corner this year? And I'm not saying are they going to win the division. I'm not going to say are they going to the Super Bowl? Are they, going deep in the playoffs? I'm not even saying are they going to, have a, just missed, we're talking about the NFC East here. You know what I mean? But are they going to turn a corner this year? They went 6-10 last year. But the second half of the season, right? They won 1-7 at the beginning of the season. They went 5-3. That's not a great record, but it's not a bad record in the second half of the season. So, technically, if you want to look at it like that, they kind of turned a corner there. And that 5-3 record, one of those games they could have won. One of those games they lost, so they could have a 6-2 record. So they've bulked up on the offensive weapons, obviously. The defense is solid. It has been. It even was last year. And, is the O-line, and I know we're talking about Jones here, but is the O-line really the only question? Well,
I think there's some question marks on defense as well. And I think the offense is a question. And I think you made a point. They really haven't all played together yet. So how they start to gel, I don't know. And maybe they will. They're certainly more talented in the receivers than they have been in a long time.
Sure.
Is Saquon Barkley starting? Where is he at? Where is his progress at? I think there's a lot of question marks.
Well, here's the injury report. And before I actually get to it, let's just throw this up. My question was, why are the Broncos a 3-point favorite? And John Donovan actually chimed in. He says, Miller and Chubb versus the Giants O-line. That's why the Giants.
Well, but Bradley Chubb might not play.
Okay.
Well, number one, the Miller Chubb train, they're constantly arrested, both of them. Bradley Chubb was just arrested the other day on an outstanding warrant at practice, I think. And he's a game time decision. He hasn't practiced all week. So Bradley Chubb's got some sort of ankle injury. I think Noah Fant is playing for the Broncos. I think the Broncos are going to be deceptively a little better on offense this year, especially with Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. I think you're looking at two teams that are very much the same. Mm-hmm. And both, they just have different question marks. I think the Broncos have more question marks at running back. I think they have more question marks on their offensive line and how their offense is actually going to come together. I think their defense is going to be better than it was. Right. But you could pass against the Broncos. And, I think that's really going to determine it. If the Giants can give Daniel Jones a little bit of time, right, and he can learn how to hit these these quick passes in these sort of under routes, right, then the Giants can move the ball down the field. Yeah. I'm not they've struggled in the red zone. We know that. They have a great place kicker, so maybe they could put some points on the board. But I don't think the Giants defense is a world beater this year. I really don't. I think the Giants are going to be easy. I think the Giants are going to be fairly easy to score on.
Yeah. We will we'll check that out. They here's the injury report right now. The you have I'm sorry. Evan Ingram he has a calf injury. He did not practice yesterday anyway, or today I should say. Mm-hmm. Saquon, all the rest of these are limited practice. Saquon Barkley, knee, obviously. Galladay, hamstring. Justin Hillard, foot. Adoree Jackson, ankle. Josh Jackson, calf. Kyle Rudolph, foot. Danny Shelton, neck. Caden Smith, knee. Andrew Thomas, ankle. And Kadarius Toney, hamstring. But on that note,
Barkley limited yesterday in practice.
Barkley, all of those were limited practice. All of those, except for Ingram was the only one that didn't practice. Everybody else was limited practice. But Kadarius Toney says that he's going to be good to play on Sunday. Now that doesn't mean the trainers and the coaching staff feel the same way, but he said he's going to be ready to play on Sunday. So,
and Galladay is still probably.
Galladay, everybody's probable.
Yeah, which I mean, technically means nothing.
Which technically means, yeah, exactly. So, but that's that. And oddly enough, they actually named, I don't know if you saw this, they named 7 captains.
That's a good sign.
They named 7 captains the other day.
6 of them will be there by the end of the year.
Well, here they are. Obviously, Daniel Jones is captain. Barkley's a captain. Center Nick Gates is a captain. Linebacker Blake Martinez is a captain. Safeties Peppers and Logan Ryan are captains. And Graham Gano is a captain.
So they're covering their bases.
Their place kicker is a captain. 3 of those guys have never been a captain before. Nick Gates, Logan Ryan, and Graham Gano have never been captains before. They're captain this year.
So they're like junior captains.
They're junior captains. They're lieutenants.
So they're going, they're banking on one of these players is going to be good.
Sure.
And this season, so they're going to be the captain.
I'm sure they're hoping that it's either Daniel Jones or Saquon Barkley.
They may whittle it down over
right.
The stripping of the sea.
Exactly.
Each week, one of these guys is going to lose it.
Right.
There's going to be, we're going to have 3 captains. But,
exactly.
So for the next 4 weeks, each one of you is going to lose your captaincy.
If one of you, if you play bad in Sunday's game, you lose your captaincy.
You lose your captaincy.
Exactly.
Until we get down to 3.
Start high, work your way down, whittle it down.
It's open competition, right?
Exactly.
That's what they say about the quarterbacks. But we've got open competition for the captaincy.
So, well, you know what? I think my take on it is I think that if the O-line performs at least average, they'll be okay. I don't think they're going to, hey, you know what? Stranger things have happened. That's why they play the games, as Chris Berman says, right? But whatchamacallit, I think if the O-line can perform at least average, they'll continue to turn the corner. They'll continue to turn the corner they started turning in the second half of last season. And I'll hold my prediction for we'll do it now. Giants.
Let me just say this. Right. Second half of last year, were the Giants, did they end up with a better record in the second half because of what they did, or because of who they played?
No,
because the main difference that I could see is Daniel Jones kind of held onto the ball a little bit better.
Right. Yeah.
Which is an improvement.
Yeah.
But it's a singular improvement.
Well, think about this though. One of those games they won though was Colt McCoy beating the Seahawks too.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones didn't even play.
Yeah, but you know what? You have one of those. Every team pretty much has one of those every year. So
right.
that was kind of theirs.
Right.
And my second question was, with the upgrades they've made, if their offensive line plays even moderately better, won't they be somewhat better, almost by default?
Yeah. You would think, right? I mean, good. They have better weapons. Daniel Jones, for all intents and purposes,
everybody's got more experience.
He's got more experience. He's in his third season now. He knows
coming back, knock wood,
right?
Fresh legs,
exactly. So
they should be a better team. And I don't like the Giants, but I like Joe Judge for a lot of things that he does, and I think he's a good coach. And I tend to think his teams would be teams that get better. I might be wrong about that, but he's not the kind of guy who's going to stand for complacency.
Yeah, and I saw a report today. Somebody put it out there. Joe Judge is on thin ice. I do not think that is remotely true. Joe Judge is not on thin ice. Dave Gettleman may be on thin ice. Daniel Jones is certainly ice underneath him is maybe not thin, but it's not too thick. But I don't think Joe Judge by any means is on thin ice.
That sounds like clickbait.
Yeah, pretty much.
But they should be a better team this year.
Yeah, I agree. Harry, you?
I don't know what to make of this team. Look, I'm thinking back on the end of last year, it was just such a strain. Their division was so. Look, they played the Bucs tough. They lost by 2. They beat Washington. They kind of got beat pretty bad by the Rams, but they held the Rams to 17 points. Yep. They beat the Eagles. They beat the Seahawks. Obviously, Daniel Jones wasn't in that. They lost to the Browns, as you expected. And they beat a Cowboys team, which kind of gave up by that time in the end of the year. And the Giants had a pretty easy schedule last year.
But the division can't be as overall bad as it was last year.
No, but even outside of
somebody's got to step up.
Even outside of the division, they didn't fare well against teams outside of the division. They had a couple big upsets. They beat the Seahawks, which was a surprise. And they lost to the Bears, they lost to the Steelers, they lost to the 49ers really bad. They split with the Eagles, right? They split with the Cowboys. They won both against They won both against Washington.
Yep.
They beat the Bengals. All right. They didn't get tested very much last year. And I think their schedule is fairly similar this year.
It's not better. It's not easier or harder.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that for this first game, I think it's a toss-up. And I really do think that both teams are going to struggle to put points on the board. I think you're going to have to see something happen on the defensive side. And I think the over-under in this is 41.5. I'm going to take the under. And I just think this is going to be one of those 17-12 games, and whoever can,
kick a late field goal,
capitalize on a turnover and put some points on the board is going to win the game. I could be wrong. I hope for both teams' sake that it opens up and they're able to move the ball a little bit more. I think both teams have a very good potential to be better than they were last year because they both had, seasons that didn't live up to expectations.
Sure. Can they be a better team this year and let's say end up with the same record?
Yeah, they could.
No, they can't.
Technically.
Because, right.
Yeah.
But, what I mean?
Yes, they could play more consistently.
Improvement, but also see some improvement around them within the division.
Right.
And kind of end up record. If you just want to look at the numbers, you go, it's the same team. But they could, they could be a better team.
The Giants had some games last year where they just were woeful at getting any sort of points on the board. I mean, really bad. So I hope that that's better. I don't know why they can't solve this offensive line issue. And I think if the Giants could solve that, then we can really judge Daniel Jones and say, okay, you got an offensive line now. You got more talent, arguably, than anybody else in the division, and maybe in the NFC.
Yeah, it's hard to judge the quarterback. I mean, unless they're a superstar, when you don't have an offensive line, if you're just one of those greats, you find ways to kind of overcome that. And maybe you're not great your first couple of years with that lousy offensive line. But when you're not that, and I think it's safe to say that Daniel Jones is not shown to be an out-of-the-box superstar. It's hard. It's what you just said. It's really hard to know what he is because he's just not getting protection and not getting time. And unfortunately, that's where, as I've said a million times, that's where bad habits form. And then you get guys that get into a cycle and they never become maybe what they could have been because they're so used to being gun shy.
I think you're going to see the veterans on both sides have a bigger impact on this first week than some of the young guys, because there just hasn't been much of a preseason, especially a competitive preseason against top-notch first team, opponents.
And you're also going to, too, with these weapons, you know that they're going to bring Saquon Barkley along slow in these first couple of games.
Yeah.
And he's not going to get that many touches as much as, he would have, obviously, if he wasn't hurt last year. And they're going to bring, because of the injuries, I think they're going to bring Galladay. And if Tony does see any playing time, they're going to bring him along slow. And, but they have enough other weapons that, it's not going to be,
we'll see.
It's a smorgasbord. It's a free for all for Daniel Jones if he has some protection in front of him when all of those guys are healthy, right? But so we'll see.
And if he doesn't, then have they realized that the guys running the team realize that and sort of tailored the offense so that maybe he doesn't have to wait quite so long before getting rid of the ball. There are ways to run a game plan that doesn't, relies on, but
rollouts, check
is
downs.
crafted with the idea that our offensive line is not great.
Sure.
It's, kind of called it's sort of a side effect, but the West Coast offense.
Look, if the Giants win,
way down the field,
if the Giants win 8 games, then it's a move in the right direction. Right. But is this team really capable of being a 12 and 5 team now?
Yeah. I don't think so.
I'm going to go out. I'm going to say
I don't think so.
Here's my pick for the Giants, and we can write this down. We'll look at it obviously into the season or whatever. But I'm going to say they're going to be 8-9. So they're going to improve. It's not,
I think
maybe 8-9 wins the division.
I think if you get 9 wins, this team gets 9 wins, you should be really happy as a Giant.
If they get 9 wins, yeah. Here's a couple big things with the Giants that I just don't know, and I might be less rosy and optimistic about all of it. I think the jury is not only out on Daniel Jones. I think the jury's out on Saquon Barkley.
Sure.
I mean, yes, he had a good rookie year. We haven't seen him since, and is anybody convinced he's healthy?
Who knows?
He's just limited in practice. So
he's been limited in practice. From what you saw, he looks good, but he's not running.
What did you see? What did you see him running?
No, running. Yeah, but
he had his helmet on. And he was running.
He's moving. He's not. Yeah. He's not lumbering. He's moving as he was, but he's not running through D lines. He's not jumping over people. He's not getting tackled. He's not getting dragged down to the ground. You don't know any of that. I'm just saying he doesn't look hurt by any means still. He's moving well. Right. How is this going to translate into a game situation when he's got defenders hitting him and he has to break through lines and keep the legs churning to try and get an extra yard or two.
If you look at them as far as offense and defense, I think they have a middle of the pack defense, and I think they have I think their offense has the potential of being towards the top of the bottom. Or at the bottom of the bottom. That's kind of where I see them.
Right.
And I don't know what the chemistry on this team is, because you just haven't seen enough of them yet.
No, I agree. All right. Let's wrap up the Giants. I gave mine. I said 8-9. Harry, throw a number out there.
I think the Giants win 7 games this year.
7, and you're going 7-10. Pete?
I think they're going to surprise you, and they're going to win 9.
All right. 7-10.
You writing that down? I'm not writing that
9, and I got it. All right, hold on.
I'm not writing down my own prediction.
You're not writing down your prediction. I got it. All right.
All right.
So, all right.
The Giants are going to win 7 games. It'd be 9-8 because the Cowboys and the Eagles will give them a game. Yeah.
Right.
I think between 7 and 8 is where I think I'll go with 7, just because I don't know. I want to be wrong. I want to be wrong. I'm just not. I'm not feeling it. I just don't know what the makeup of this team really is.
Well, we'll certainly see in about 19 weeks what it boils down to. So.
Stay tuned,
and their schedule is harder this year than last year by far. Huh? I mean, they got to play Kansas City. They got to play, obviously.
Well, based on those 4 games, obviously they hope.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, they get to play the Falcons. That could be a win. They play the Saints. That's kind of a toss-up, maybe. Right. They got to play the Rams, the Panthers, the Chiefs, the Raiders, Tampa Bay, the Chargers, the Dolphins.
Anyway,
it's a tougher. I think it's a tougher schedule than it was last year.
Yeah. So all right. Well, we'll see how that pans out. We wrote those down. All right, let's talk about some Jets. Before we do, we're going to unveil this year's the quest for 16. All right, and subject that number subject to change depending on what happens. So here we go.
Are the Jets gonna win today? No. I mean yes. I mean no. I mean yes. I mean no. I mean yes. I mean no.
There we go.
There we go. That's our official Jet sounder.
That's the official Jet sounder. There you go. All right.
Hopefully it will not be a quest for 0-16.
Hopefully it will not be a quest for 0-16. Maybe it's a quest for 16-0. And we actually have to change that because there's 17 games in the season now. So.
That's true. Well, as long as we don't say the number.
This is true.
As long as we don't say the number.
We don't say the number. That's all. Hey, the Jets are away on Sunday. They open their season up in Carolina at 1 o'clock on Sunday, playing the Panthers, obviously. They're 5.5-point underdogs at the moment. Do you agree with that, Pete? Maybe.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, the Jets to me are like no one can get hurt.
Right.
They don't have much depth.
No.
At least not much that inspires a lot of confidence.
Right, exactly.
So, they're in a situation that they're in a lot, which is kind of everything has to go just right.
Yeah.
What
do you think of the matchup? You think there's going to be any Sam Darnold retribution? He's gonna
look. It's an interesting story. Sam Darnold obviously has something to prove.
Yep.
And he's got the tools that he has to work with. Zach Wilson's a rookie quarterback, so I don't consider him to be a sure thing out of the box. Mm-hmm. More so than Sam Bradford was. I wasn't particularly high on Sam Bradford, but when they drafted him, but he was their man. And
sure.
Listen, I advocated for keeping him around for another year, but I'm not a professional football GM. So
exactly.
It's an interesting story. Bradford's definitely looking for some retribution.
I love you calling
of course. Why wouldn't he be? Why wouldn't he be? I can't expect too much out of the Jets this year, except for effort and a new attitude. And of course, you got a new coach and a new coaching staff and all that stuff. So this is a time where they're going to set the tone, right? That they've been setting through their words. They're going to have to set that tone on the field.
They set the tone the other day. They named 5 captains. The Jets only named 5 captains. They named Zach Wilson, quarterback Zach Wilson. They named him a captain. Corey Davis is a captain. C.J. Mosley is a captain. Folorunso Fatukasi. Is that how you say it?
I think so.
Folorunso Fatukasi. There you go. He's a captain. Captain Folo. Just call it that. And cornerback Justin Hardy is also a captain. So there you go. And Marcus May and George Fant were captains last year. They're not this year. They get demoted.
Yeah.
Demoted.
Well, that's fine.
There you go. All right. What do you think the Jets' record's going to be this year? Out on a limb. Do some picking. How are they going to improve?
What did they win last year? 10?
They
What are you back to the future?
They won.
Oh wait, that was over a few years.
They won 15. They won 15 games last year. I'm sorry, they lost 15 games last year.
Well, look, injuries strike everybody, and like I said, they don't have a lot in offensively. I think they're maybe a little better off than defensively. But I think Crowder is out this week. It's just I don't know who's going to carry the ball. I mean, with any success, more than 1.7 yards a carry or 2.3 or whatever the hell it was that their average was last year. So I think Wilson's going to be okay, but he's a rookie, so he's going to struggle.
Right.
He's going to have his crappy games. He'll probably have a couple of good games.
The Jets are, on paper, I believe I read, the youngest team in the entire NFL.
Yeah, which I'm fine. That brings a lot of energy, and sometimes that's, I think we've talked about this. Sometimes it kind of brings this attitude that we don't really know what we're up against.
Right.
They don't
know what to expect. So
they get into those pressure situations and they go, well, they don't really understand the magnitude of it. So, but that's not going to win them a lot of games. So no. I think they'll probably win. I think they're going to win 5, maybe 6 games this year.
6 games.
I'm going to say 5. I can't. I'd like to say 6. But I can't confidently say 6.
5.
Well, yeah, but I'm a Jets fan, so I'll say 6 because we're eternally hopeful and stupid.
So 6 and 11. There you go.
I'll say 6. Why not?
Harry?
I think they'll win 4 games. They might squeak a 5th one out because, I think they finished the week 17 with the Bills. The Bills might be sitting their starters that game. So 4 or 5. God.
It's tough, right?
I'm going to be really honest. I think they're going to win 4 games.
4 games. 4 and 13. All right. I'm actually going to go right between you two. I'm going to say they're 5 and 12. That's mine.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say 5. I'm going to say 5.
You're switching it, are you?
Yeah, he said 5.
Well, 6 was.
No, he switched it after I typed.
Okay,
yeah. 5 is really. That's really what I think. I think they'll win 5.
There you go. All right. All right. Well, we'll see.
Another great year.
Well, we're getting ready for it. We're getting ready for it.
They've got a kind of a tough schedule too.
They do have a tough one, yeah. So for a team that's in the shape they're in and what they're doing, it's a tough schedule. But hey, you know what? Robert Saleh, he could be the real deal. They could finally found their second coming of Weeb. Maybe.
Well, look, this is not a year for the Jets to go out and win anything. Right. This is a year to, like I just said, show what they're made of,
and
right?
work through it, and work their way up, and do what you're going to do.
The Giants, I don't think anyone's expecting them to be a significantly better team last year, but I think the Giants have a little more pressure on them to be better, certainly than the Jets do, and it's a lower threshold.
Right.
Giants don't have the Jets have to do a lot less to be better than they were last year.
Look, if the Jets win 6 games, that's a good season for them.
Yeah,
especially if there's some real development with Zach Wilson, and if you're starting to see, hey, this is a young team that's, that at least if they can keep some of these games close, I think the Jets are going to see the biggest difference on defense. I think they're going to have a pretty decent defense this year.
I don't see why they wouldn't. I mean, their defense wasn't like atrocious last year. It wasn't great, but it wasn't the bottom of the barrel. They just couldn't score any points. But anyway. And of course, they had some bonehead, plays called in, but we'll leave that alone.
That's the other thing is we're going to see
what the
hopefully what the difference a coach makes.
Exactly. All right, let's do a couple of these these things really quick. I got a rapid fire for you, if you will. Responses. Here we go. How will the season go for? And we'll even make it. Will they have a good season? Yes or no? Okay. We're going to go with the quarterbacks first, the rookie quarterbacks, if you will. Trevor Lawrence. Harry.
Yes, but if I could also see him going the Joe Burrow route and getting whacked around a lot.
Yeah, and seeing what he did in the preseason whenever he was in, trying to get that extra yardage or whatever, and not whatever. So,
but he has the potential to be the Hall of Famer.
Sure, Pete.
Yeah, I think he'll have a good season. He'll get smacked around for sure, but I think he'll have a good season.
All right, stay with you, Pete. Zach Wilson.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
a good year for a rookie quarterback. Doesn't mean he has to win the division. A good year.
No. Yeah, but you can quantify. You can say, well, did he have a good year? Did he have a really good year? There's like a range. I think he's going to be in the bottom third of what you might consider a good season for the rookie.
But he will, all right.
But he will, yeah.
Harry?
Yeah, again, for him and Trevor Lawrence, I fear for their health.
Gotcha. All right.
Especially Wilson. He's 12 years old. Looks like a 12-year-old.
He's 12 or 13.
Well, he's resilient. The kids bounce back real quick.
Yeah,
he's rubbery. So.
Their bones are rubbery. Yeah, exactly. We're going to leave off Justin Fields and Trey Lance because we don't know that they're starting by any means. But Mac Jones, Harry,
I think he's going to the playoffs.
Okay, Pete. I know you hope he has a bad year, but
look, he's the perfect systems quarterback for this systems team and this systems coach, and he's probably going to have a pretty good year.
He's probably going to have a good systems year.
I think he's going to have a pretty good systems year.
I heard Cam Newton's the new linebacker, the new tight end for
Cam Newton's a tight end. Yeah, exactly. I think all three of them are going to have good years. I could be honest with you. I think, and obviously you two agree. I think Mac Jones is going to have the best year of the three, and I just think he's playing really, really good ball for.
Well, the Patriots' offensive line looks good.
They do,
and he's a good fit, and he's probably going to be asked to carry the team a little bit less. Not that the Patriots are so superior a team, but the way they operate, right?
Right.
Yep.
It's a really, really good match.
Sure.
Fucking Belichick.
I know. All right, I got two running backs for you. Same thing, same questions. Just obviously the ones coming off of injuries. We'll start with Christian McCaffrey. Harry?
Yeah, I mean, and look, I think you're going to see that week one. I think he might be the defining factor in getting Sam Darnold some revenge against the Jets, if it's even that. Right. But I think you're going to see him have a fantastic year. I also think you're going to see him be one of everybody's favorites in fantasy football. He's just going to, he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be blowing up fantasy leagues every week.
Gotcha. Pete?
Yeah, he's the real deal. And again, all of these are barring injury, but
sure.
It kind of goes without saying. But yeah, I see no reason why he shouldn't have another darn good season.
Exactly. Can you get me a push-up, please? Or a toasted almond?
Oh, that's the man. Let's see.
Do you have a window that you can jump out?
Just does he pull up right next to your window?
I did hear feet run down the stairs.
Crack trolley?
It's the crack trolley.
I hear the motor, and I heard some feet stomping down the stairs. So
there you go.
Maybe you'll get a toasted almond bar.
Getting a. No, it's the twist shake is my go-to.
Twist shake. There you go. Nice.
Nice. So I might be getting a little Mr. Softy.
Little Mr. Softy. Well, I mean, is that a good thing?
That's, again, leave your OnlyFans out of this.
Well,
All right.
It equates to bigger tips
there
later on this evening. Let's put it
later. There you go. All right. All right. And Saquon Barkley. That'll be our last one for this.
I hope so. Don't know.
Hope so. Don't know. Question mark out.
I think he's the biggest question mark on the Giants. I think he's a bigger question mark than Daniel Jones. I think I know what Daniel Jones is going to do. I don't know if Saquon Barkley is going to play. I just feel like he's in that. He's one of those guys who I just don't know how durable he's going to be over his career.
Let me ask you this. I mean, Christian McCaffrey had a bad injury last year. He was out the whole season.
Right.
Why is he going to be the real deal and light it up at Saquon Barkley?
Because of how he plays. I feel like Barkley is constant. Does things that puts himself in greater risk of getting injured.
He goes too far with things.
With the leg jumps and the injury that he had was kind of. It was
self-inflicted to a point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I just and the other answer to your question is I've seen more of Christian McCaffrey. He's got a bigger track record, and yeah, of course it's a question mark coming back from an injury, but he's proven to be a better player.
Yeah. Pete,
there are guys that you hope don't get injured, and then there are guys that you hope don't get injured because you're expecting them to get injured.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you talk about those two guys, they're in two different categories. And Barkley, unfortunately, is in the one where you hope he doesn't get injured. Some guys we know occasionally have had injury problems early in their career, and maybe they mature a little bit, takes a couple of years or whatever, and then they become stalwart players.
Right.
Generally, it goes the other way.
Right.
Generally, guys who tend to get hurt, they tend to stay guys who get hurt.
Gotcha.
Although especially maybe not quite as bad.
Right.
Yeah, especially running backs.
Right.
And look, I like Saquon Barkley. He's
I want him to be
I want him
a superstar.
I want to be able to watch him.
The eye test just tells me
if you had to pick, will he last the whole season? Will he maybe not have a season-ending injury, but will he have a significant injury?
Right.
You kind of have to go. I mean, for me, I'd have to kind of go, yeah, probably. If I had to pick one or the other.
Let's hope not. Let's
hope not. I hope for you guys.
So we're all proven wrong, so to speak. But I think we're all in agreement on that one. We were in agreement that Mac Jones will have the best between those three. I think Christian McCaffrey will have the better season than Saquon.
Yeah, I want the Giants and the Jets battling for 5 or 6 wins this season.
There you go.
I think they will.
Great for us and great for the show.
Sounds like a plan. All right.
And Saquon is a big part of that happening.
All right. All right. Let's do our predictions for the divisions, and then we'll do beaten by the coin, and we'll wrap it up.
Okay. You keeping track of these, or am I?
I'm keeping track of everything. Don't worry.
Okay.
I got all of these. Don't worry about this. Right. So
I got my first week's sheet laid out already.
Yeah. Perfect. All right. We'll start with the NFC East, and we'll start with Pete. Just rattle off. No explanation. Just
I don't know who. Patriots.
Giants. Patriots.
Oh wait, NFC East.
NFC East.
Yeah.
They would definitely win the
then
NFC
it's the Broncos. The Generals, right?
Jeez, I don't know.
Giants, Redskins, Eagles, Cowboys.
I'm gonna go.
I'm going to take the Cowboys. I think Dak is back apparently, ready for Week 1. They're good to go.
There you go. So you're both of you Cowboys?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say Washington.
Okay.
Washington.
Next.
All right. NFC North. Pete. You going with the Lions?
I don't know who's in the North.
Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions.
I guess Packers.
Harry?
Yeah.
Packers. All three across the board. Packers. Good.
I honestly have no idea who's in what division. I'm frantically searching.
Well, I'll give him
pull it up right now on ESPN.
I'll give them to you. NFC South. That would be the Bucks, the Saints, the Falcons, and the Panthers. Bucks, Saints.
Gotta go with the Bucks.
Yep, Bucks.
Bucks. Agreed. Across the board. There you go. NFC West. Seahawks, 49ers, Rams, and Cardinals. Who is it? Who will it be?
I'm going to go with the Rams.
You just took the words out of my mouth. Rams.
Yeah, I'm going to take... Yeah, I got to take the Rams.
Yeah. All right.
I'm tempted to take the 49ers, but...
Go for it if you want.
All right, I'll take the 49ers.
Take the 49ers. There you go. So Rams, and 49ers. All right. Switching over to the AFC East. I hope you know who's in that division.
The Bills.
All right. Harry?
Yeah, I'm tempted to pick an upset here, but I think the Bills will win it.
Patriots. I'm going Patriots. I think it's going to be close. It's going to come down to Week 17.
Who's going to get hurt on Buffalo that you're picking the Patriots? Jared Allen's going out.
I think they're going to. They're going to be right there. They're getting a wild card. But I think the Patriots are going to do it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer this year too. I think the Bills come down to earth a little bit, even though they're probably as good a team.
Right.
But I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so there you go. AFC North, that would be the Steelers, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Bengals.
I'm going to take the Browns.
Taking the Browns?
I'm going to take the Ravens.
I'm going to take the Browns. I'm going with the Browns. All right, South, that would be Colts, Titans, Texans, and Jaguars.
Who's the Colts' new QB?
Carson Wentz.
No.
When he's healthy.
Take the Titans.
Taking the Titans?
Yeah.
Harry?
This is the toughest one to pick, I think. God. Yeah, I guess the Titans.
Yeah, you got it. I'm tempted.
I'm tempted to take the Colts, but Carson Wentz doesn't give me the warm fuzzies.
I agree 100%. That's right where I'm at. I was tempted to take the Colts, but they're going to be there. They'll be relevant, but I think it's the Titans division again. Yeah. And the AFC West, to wrap it up, that would be the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Raiders, and the Chargers.
Well,
I will say the Kansas Vegas Chargers.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'm really going to go out on that limb with you. I'm thinking that the Chiefs might be able to do it this year. So there you go.
I think this is the year that Chargers do not win, so it'll be Kansas City.
Kansas City. All right.
I think the Chargers are going to definitely.
I think they're going to be
second.
really
No, they're
good.
going to be relevant too.
I think
There's
they're
going to be
really
a lot of
good.
there's going to be a lot of good football this year.
And I think the Broncos will be better than they were last year, and I think the Raiders will as well.
Yeah, I agree. That division is going to be better, much better than it's been the last couple of years. So, all right. Really quick, who's going to win the NFC? Going to the Super Bowl from the NFC. Harry first.
I'm going to pick a little bit of an upset, and I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams.
Okay, that's good. Pete? Okay.
I'm going to take the Bucks.
Bucks. All right.
I think they're going back.
I'll give you 3 guesses who I'm taking.
The Bucks.
No, Packers.
Oh,
Packers. Okay.
Packers are winning. All right. And who wins the AFC? Do the Chiefs three-peat? Three-peat the champions.
I'm gonna take the Bills.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I am too.
Interesting.
It's very difficult, Kansas.
Yeah, it's hard to. I mean, I'm just kind of trying to make it interesting and not pick.
They're so good, but Bills are really on a mission.
I'm going to say
they're on a mission to barely make the playoffs.
They're on a mission to just miss. Now, I'm taking the Chiefs. It's going to be the Packers and the Chiefs. And who's winning of your two, not of mine or whatever. So, Harry, you said the Bills and the Bucks.
No, I said the Bills and the
Bills and the Rams.
Rams.
Ooh, Rams would be.
I'm gonna change my NFC pick because I forgot about the Packers. Yeah. I just think it's the year of. I think it's the year of Wisconsin. I think the Packers win the Super Bowl.
Okay, all right. So you're saying the Packers and Bills and the Packers win. Mm-hmm. Pete, you're saying it's the Bills and the Bucks.
I think the Bills are going to win.
And the Bills are winning. All right. I'm Packers, Chiefs, and the Packers win. There's mine.
There we go.
All right, cool. All right. Well, that gives us just enough time to do this favorite segment that we're bringing back again this year.
The one that you know and love.
The one that you know and love, and it's called... All right. Maybe it's not.
Beaten by your mom.
It's called Beaten by your mom. It's called Beaten by the Coin. Here we go.
Beat on the brat.
Beaten by the coin.
I'm sure I'll lose to the coin.
No one wants to be beaten by the coin.
There it is.
All right.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about the beaten by the coin music.
Beaten by the Coin, Pete's OnlyFans music.
That's my OnlyFans music also.
Yeah. Just well worth the subscription price just for that.
Beaten by the Coin has
exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Start us off, Radio Pete.
All right. So we're going to do things a little differently this year. We're going to, of course, pick the New York locals, one of which this week, of course, includes the Denver local for you, Harry. And then I think we each picked, or we sort of came together and picked 3 extra games rather than pick the Sunday night, Monday night games. We ended up with some dogs last year. So we'll start off with the Jets visiting the Carolinians. And the backup of current and former Jets quarterbacks, Zach Wilson against Sam Bradford Darnold.
There you go.
And I am going to take the Carolina Panthers.
All right. Harry?
I'm going to take the Panthers.
I'll make it easy. Across the board, Panthers.
All right.
Flip
and coin.
that coin.
So Carolina is home. So they are the heads. They're the home team, so that's heads. And the coin says tails.
Tails. Coin's taking the Jets right out of the gate.
Out of the Jets.
Remember, the coin was the worst.
There you go.
All right.
It was hanging in there for a while.
It was.
So next up, we have the Giants at home against the surprisingly good this year, I think, Denver Broncos.
Okay.
John? Or Henry, why don't you take this one first, since they're your sort of adopted home team?
You know, this is I think this is the hardest game to pick week 1. And my gut tells me the Giants are not going to get out of the gate well. I think the Broncos win this game. I think they win a road game.
Yeah, as much as it pains me to say, the Broncos are winning.
All right. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. All right, Giants are home, so they're heads. And the coin says tails.
Coin's going with us.
Straight across the board.
And we're across the board. All right. Opener on tomorrow night, fucking Thursday night.
Thursday night football.
Dallas versus Tampa Bay. Anybody want to take Dallas?
No.
Tampa across the board. What does the coin say?
Let's see what the coin says. Coin says tails, and that is the Dallas Cowboys.
Coin's taking Dallas.
Wow. All right, next up is Miami versus New England, an NFC matchup of, it's New England, and it's what we saw last year, an improved Miami team. Will they continue to improve? Will they be vying for a division title, the Miami Dolphins? Will either of these teams? John, you want to go first?
Who's home?
New England is home.
New England is home. I thought so. All right, I'm actually going with New England.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with New England as well.
All right, I'm gonna take Miami on this.
All right.
Just because we need to have something different.
There you go.
And the coin says heads.
Taking the Pats.
All right.
Coin is taking the Pats. So that means I lose that one. And then our fifth and final game, Green Bay against New Orleans. Anybody want to take New Orleans?
No, I'm taking Green Bay.
Yeah.
Harry?
Yeah. I think this will be an interesting game. I think New Orleans is going to have a pretty good defense.
I do.
I just think they're going to have to try to figure themselves out offensively a little bit.
I think Alvin Kamara is going to run a lot this year because there's not Drew Brees back there.
Well, and I think Aaron Rodgers is going to come out of the gate with something to prove. And
absolutely.
Yep.
Going to put his man bun up nice and tight and throw for 400 yards.
Coin says heads.
Taking
New Orleans. Taking the Saints. Wow.
There you go. All right.
So there you go. So we have one differential amongst us.
There you go.
And the coin has 1, 2,
3.
Three differentials.
The coin is that girl at the office who hasn't watched football in 20 years and wins the fantasy league.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That could happen.
All right.
So there you go. We'll post the pics on the website and then update them as they happen.
Sounds like a plan.
Well, none of these are night games, right? I mean, other than
tomorrow night. Yeah, that's it.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So they'll all be, but they're not Sunday or Monday games.
No, not at all.
Okay. I mean, not Sunday night games.
No.
So, so I should be able to post this Sunday. That's the other thing. Don't have to wait till Monday night to potentially post it.
Right. Exactly.
So there we go.
And there we go.
2 minutes to spare.
2 minutes to spare.
Oh, hey,
right.
let me hit you with this schedule thing.
Oh, go for it.
Can I do that? All right.
Yeah.
Washington, they're still the football team, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Closing this season with 5 straight division opponents.
Wow.
They'll
play three games during the season, then close it out 5 straight division games.
Yeah, there are 3 other teams that will play 4 division opponents over the 5 final weeks.
Right.
And that is obviously the Cowboys and the Eagles amongst them, and then the Panthers are the 3rd team. Right. But the first time since 1995 that a team will have to close the season with 5 straight division games. That's the last team was the 1995 Bucks, who went 1-4.
That's crazy
over that stretch. Right. And I don't even know what the let's check out the Washington schedule. But you guys talk while I do that.
Well, while you're going over that, I have to sign off, but I'm going to say one thing in closing. Congratulations to Derek Jeter.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
A Hall of Famer.
And Larry Walker.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, one of the, I think if you're building a Mount Rushmore of Yankees, he's maybe the only modern Yankee that you would, him and Mariano, that would be on that mountaintop. But
I agree with you. And before you and so congratulations to Derek Jeter and also to Larry Walker. And before you go though, there, Harry, what's your pick? Over or under 4.5?
On the I'm going to go under, and I know I'm wrong. So congratulations on winning the over under.
I'm actually going under with you.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Under 4. Do we want to do it right now?
Yeah, do it right
now.
Sure.
All right, well, I have gathered them right here.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 1 magenta, 1 cyan.
These are strippers.
one jaune or yellow, and then one extra large black 127.
There you go.
This is the double cartridge. So it is 4.
All right.
All right.
I won something finally.
There you go.
That's the best way to end.
You get 10 minutes of free OnlyFans.
I'm looking forward to it.
10 minutes.
Use
them wisely.
Now, aren't you?
That's right.
All right.
At
listen,
MrSofty.com.
That's a $7 value. So
I know.
$7 for 10 minutes?
And that's with tipping.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, tips included.
Tips included. There.
All right. I got to go.
Go have your meeting, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
See you later.
All right. So what was your total that you were looking for? That you were adding while he was talking
I
about
was looking
13?
up the Washington schedule.
Oh, yes.
Okay, here we go. Because I'm just curious to see who they. All right, so let's see. Dallas, Philly, Giants.
Dallas, Philly, Giants.
So
That's
January
crazy.
9th, the Washington football team. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, they're playing 5 teams. They had to play 4 of those. 4 of those games were definitely going to be against 2 opponents. They had to. So
right.
They're playing. So what you're saying is they're playing. Because it's only 6 divisional games. That's right. I'm not talking. It's not 8. It's 6 divisional games. So they're playing the Giants at some point during the season, and then they're playing all of the divisional games except for the one that they play against the Giants earlier in the season at the end of the season. That's insane.
Giants are almost bookending the season for Washington. They are week 2.
Oh, the week. Yeah, it's next Thursday night. It's next Thursday night's game. Yeah.
In the Meadowlands.
In Washington. It's right. It's the Giants home opener. Yes.
And then, no, I'm sorry.
No, it is in Washington.
They're home.
Yeah.
No, they're home. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Yep. Yeah. And then that's their only division game.
It's their only division game until
their only
the last
division
5 weeks
game
of the
until the end. That is
insane,
crazy.
Whoever wrote the schedule, they should be.
Now I wonder if the other teams are doing that as well. Sort of.
Well, I mean, Dallas
has Washington, Giants, Washington, Arizona, and then they finish with Philly. So similar.
Washington, Giants, Washington, Arizona, Philly. So they got 4 out of 5. Just threw Arizona in there. I got you. It's crazy. Crazy schedule.
And then I assume Philly is kind of along the same lines. Let's just look really quickly here. So they have a bye.
Mm-hmm.
So they play the Jets week 13. And then it's Washington, the Giants, Washington, and Dallas to finish up.
Gotcha.
For the Phillies.
Cool. Or
for the Eagles, rather.
Right.
So, interesting.
Very, very interesting
situation there.
I like these points of interest, schedule interests.
Well, listen, somebody obviously...
Schedule, what'd you call it? Schedule anomalies or something?
Anomalies,
like
yeah. So it makes me think that somebody actually put some thought into making the schedule. Now, whether that was just thought, how could we make this as fucked up as possible?
Really?
Or whether they thought these would, you would assume they would think, oh, this is a really cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
Let's have the NFC East play each other basically 4 out of the last 5 weeks.
Right.
Or in Washington's case, 5 out of the last 5
weeks. Yeah.
So, but we talked about back-to-back opponents and stuff. So some things that haven't happened in quite a while going on in the NFL schedule this season.
Very interesting. Very, cool. Very interesting. All right.
Well, that's it. I got to go cook some steak.
Yeah, on that note, and for all of you that were, it was posted today, so we apologize. We did curtail the show a little bit here for Harry's benefit. He had a big meeting to attend to. So the top 10 list that we put up that we would be doing, which I'll throw it up right here, was going to be top 10 old school wrestlers, and of course the 15's in there because. And true, Get On With It podcast fashion.
We don't have 10.
15.
So we're going to do that next week, right?
We're going to do that next week. We'll grace you with that next week. So look forward to that. And on that note, though, we will wrap the show up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.getonwithitpodcast.com. That's getonwithitpodcast.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search for the Get On With It podcast. And, of course, all of our shows are on our YouTube channel as well, on the Logger Room channel. It's actually on. Please remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at 7:30. Tonight was different. We had to go a little earlier, obviously. But it's usually at 7:30 Eastern time. For those of you just toes. Exactly. For those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and Stitcher. Plus, the show is now available on Google Podcast, Amazon Music Podcast, and iHeartRadio as well.
Nice.
So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a great opening NFL weekend. Watch football tomorrow. Watch it all day Sunday, Sunday night, Monday. Check out all the baseball action, and enjoy the weekend as well. And we will talk to you soon, folks. Take care. Cheers.
By the way, my friend Sarah says we should be on Twitch. Should be our platform.
Twitch?
Yeah, which I guess instead of, or at least maybe in addition to YouTube. She says it's easier to find stuff on Twitch. I don't know. I know the gamers use it.
The gamers use Twitch. Well, they do. The gamers, that's a big gaming platform. But it is video. There is video on there as well. So we'll look into it. Yeah, if that will expand our fan base, so be it.
There you go. Well, we'll get all the gamers who
that want to
play on Wednesday at 7:30
exactly.
Eastern time.
Wednesday have that time off from their gaming consoles.
Yeah, it's Wednesday. We'll have to start a campaign.
We'll have to work on it.
The Gamer Take a Break campaign.
Exactly.
I don't know. Maybe let's say Wednesday around 7:30 Eastern time. You want to take a break from gaming? Just sit back and listen to three morons talk about stuff that you don't know.
Exactly. You don't even have to turn Twitch off. Just switch the channel.
That's right. That's right.
Watch and then go right back to it. When we're done, go right back to gaming.
Yeah. Then you'd be like, well, that was a colossal waste of 3 hours. I'm going to game.
I'm going to game. Exactly. Gotta love it. All right. So we'll look into Twitch, and we'll keep you posted on that. And if there are any other podcast platforms, audio podcast platforms, that anybody is interested in hearing us on, just let us know, and we'll work with them to get it approved and get it subscriptions available on that as well. So
yeah, and you can contact them and tell them to start carrying the Get On With It podcast.
Exactly.
That would help.
That would definitely help. So all right.
Because I'm tired of writing letters. I can't think of any more aliases.
I know. It's such a pain. Have you used Squeegee Beckenheim?
Twice.
What about Tukey Clothespin? Did you use that one?
I used Tukey Clothespin and Tukey Clothespin Jr.
Oh yes, Junior. Yes.
So
all right.
But that's all right. That's
the
beauty of an email bot.
Exactly. Anyway.
All right. Bye, everybody. Peace.
Have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.